anjing. Woi, gue nyari Twitch TV-nya dulu, Twitch. Twitch. Kayaknya pasti tapi aja. Ayolah, tolonglah jangan buffer lah, anjir. Masa buffer sih anjing. Nah, gitu dong. Nah, apa kabar nih gue main ginian, cok? Kapan terakhir kali gue main ginian, bangsat? Gue live streamingin kapan terakhir kali, cok?
We appreciate that. Yeah, at least for me, and they were.
Anjir, kagak ada Twitch-nya, gue goblok. Masa gue mesti sign up lagi, tai? Anjing, nggak bisa login, gue goblok. Oh lo, masa pakai ginian anjing? Udahlah. Twitch. Game apa ini, Le? Masa nggak support anjing Google Chrome buat Twitch, aneh anjing. Ituan dari mana bangsat? Ini apa sih kelek anjing? Tanggung kali Raiden C3 ya. Raiden C3 dah. Pengennya sih gitu, tet. Gak bisa login Twitch gua anjing. Nontonnya di mana selain di Twitch, gengs? Lo ada ini yang lain selain di Twitch, nontonnya di mana, Bray? Anjing Twitch-nya lo lama banget anjir. Incognito aja. Incognito.
You're
Caranya gimana tadi incognito mode, Ted? Hah? Dari YouTube Genshin. YouTube Genshin mah nggak bisa anjir. Ini incognito tab jelas sama orang baru. Kayaknya shift kan. Oh, Twitch TV. Enggak nih Twitch-nya Ted yang lemot, Ted. Ih, aneh banget anjing, kentut dah. Genshin Impact Twitch. Kali dia. Itu nu. Itu nu apaan? Discord. Kayak lu kalau doang cek YouTuber lain. Udah, tapi kamu mesti login. Aduh. Pakai Gmail lagi anjing. Ayo dah. Jarang bisa, gue lupa Gmail gue lagi apaan. Tolol. Ya udah, aku buat aja dah anjir. Well lah. Pas saya ngapain deh, gue sign up deh. Sorry gengs. Gue mana tahu kalau bakal begini jadinya anjing, tiba-tiba Twitch-nya error bangsat jadi keluar semua. Tujuh belas 0761. Keluar. Wih, hacet. Ih, anjing, error banget, anjing.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Genshin Impact version 3.3 special program. I'm your host, Sarah Miller Cruz, the voice of Lumine in Genshin Impact, and today I'm joined by
Max, the one and only middleman, voice of the one and only Arataki Ito.
And I'm Patrick Pedraza, voice of the Wanderer. But up until now, travelers have only known me as Scaramouche, and everyone's been battling me in the game lately.
Yeah, that's true, but to be fair, it's a really cool fight.
It's a really cool fight.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I'm super excited to have the chance to share some upcoming content with everyone. What did you all think about that trailer?
Okay, so I definitely saw Irminsul in there, and I am really excited to find out more about it.
Yeah, that trailer had everything. It had everything. It had
Anjir,
action.
emang.
It had
Bangke.
drama. It was lighthearted in places, but it was dramatic.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just super stoked for everyone to see Scaramouche's, backstory.
Suaranya gede banget,
I'm super
anjing.
excited about it for reals.
Heck yeah.
Nah, suara lu segini aja, Cok.
Speaking of that,
Suaranya
on this
kekecilan
story's
nggak?
development, Scaramouche is still in Nahida's custody. So I bet the question everyone's wanting to know is how he'll become the Wanderer.
Yeah, for sure. And there's
Aneh banget anjir, eventnya Halloween di Inazuma ada kayaknya. Masa
If
sih?
you're interested, then be sure to play through the Archon Quest interlude chapter in version of Genesis. There's
Kekecilan
so
ya kayaknya.
much to learn
Apanya
in this
kekecil?
quest.
Suara gue apa suara lo, Ted? Apa suara game? Suara gue apa suara game-nya?
Oh, come on, man. You can't just leave everyone hanging like that. How about some hints? Come on, please. Please.
All right. How can I say no to a cute chibi Ito?
You can't.
Masa suara gue? Enggak, suara game-nya udah pas kan nih sekarang? Udah pas kan? Wih, apaan nih?
We ran into two people at the academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. From what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now
Tuh, udah gue gedein tuh. Suara gue kecil, nggak apa-apa dah.
their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
That
Oh,
was
man.
pretty rad.
Wait, why are they talking about Tatarasuna?
Tadi apaan lagi Tatarasuna anjir?
It is interesting though to see the Traveler, Nahida, and Scaramouche all together so peacefully like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this interlude chapter, Nahida will task the Traveler and Paimon with keeping an eye on Scaramouche while we go with him into Irminsul in search of some information.
Oh, interesting. So obviously Nahida must have some reason for deciding to keep Scaramouche around.
Oh, yeah, totally. And I'm liking Scaramouche's new style.
Itu pula yang yang quest. Oh iya, lupa gua. Sorry dah.
No, right. And at this point, he's known by a completely different name, the Wanderer. I love that name.
Okay, so I know I'm not the only one who's curious about what happened. I mean, it looks like he's really changed a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm afraid that's all we can show for now. Travelers will have to experience the story for themselves in-game. I mean, it's better to explore the storyline without too many spoilers, right?
True.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, we'll leave the rest for travelers to discover themselves.
Aduh,
But
Raiden C3
the
gimana nih?
Wanderer
Raiden
is
C3
also
nih.
going to be a new playable character in version 3.3. So let's talk about that. I'm sure many of our viewers are curious about his talents.
Heck yeah, sure thing. Let's have a look at the Wanderer in combat. There's no need to exchange pleasantries. It's rather pathetic to force a conversation just to occupy silence. The wind rises. Bow your head.
Ya elah,
All
chill,
right,
chill.
Patrick, you're up. Help introduce the Wanderer for us.
Sure thing. The Wanderer is a
Gimana nih
catalyst
engulfing
user and
R5?
has an
Tai,
animal
engulfing
vision,
R5
so he
anjing.
uses wind blades to perform ranged normal attacks.
Wait a second, wind blades?
Not the same as the Traveler's wind blade, though.
Okay.
So, as everyone probably already,
Kiat! Lemot gak nih?
Wanderer's normal and
Oh,
charge
enggak.
attacks
Santai,
will be converted
santai.
into Kugo Fushudan and Kugu Tofukai, respectively.
Sumpah cacat banget jadi anemo anjing. Lemot cok. FUP gue tinggal dikit soalnya, jadi sorry
The
ya.
damage they deal and their AoE will be increased. Their damage will be considered normal and charge attack damage, respectively. Also,
Mana sih anjing, lama banget dah. Bentar. Gue turunin inian gue, output gue jadi 4.000 dah. 4.000 bit
Kugu
gue.
Tofukai will not consume stamina, and he can remain hovering for a certain duration.
That's so awesome! He can fly!
I know, right? But he can't stay hovering forever. While
Dah nggak bakal buffer
hovering, the
nih.
Wanderer constantly consumes Kuguryoku points.
Anjing baru dibilangin. Gue udah turunin bitrate gue 4.000 soalnya.
To maintain his hovering state, which is the blue meter you see on the screen. Even if he doesn't move or attack, hovering will still consume Kuguryoku points.
Okay.
So this mechanic works a little differently than our typical stamina meter. There are many possible actions the Wanderer can perform while hovering in the air, which all rely on Kuguryoku points rather than stamina. So, for example,
Masih ini dah. Ya turunin ya, mau nggak mau ya. Sorry dah.
8.
Coba let's go anjing.
Okay, so
Makanya anjing.
travelers will need to plan their actions while hovering.
Exactly. So, with his talent, Jade Claim Flower, when casting his elemental skill, if it contacts Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, or Electro, that instance of the skill will receive a corresponding buff effect depending on
Anjing begitu banget dah. Ya udah auto ya dah, tai dah.
which element was contacted,
Wis anjing.
storing a set amount of energy upon hitting opponents with a normal or charged attack. The Wanderer can have up to 2 different kinds of these buffs simultaneously.
Ooh.
Oh, look, check that out. Part of the halo behind him changes color depending on the buffs you get. So travelers will be able to easily understand what effects the Wanderer currently has.
I like that. It's helpful and still looks really cool.
Yeah.
So after unlocking another talent, Gales of Reverie, when the Wanderer is in the hovering state, if his normal or charged attack hits an enemy, there is a set chance to gain another buff effect, allowing him to sprint midair without consuming Kuguryoku points. Additionally, this buff effect will fire wind arrows to attack the enemy.
Begitu amat dah anjir.
Oh, I'm sure extra buff effects like that will go a long way for players when they're in combat.
Yeah, for sure. And if you've noticed, there is a colorful aura of light around his body to indicate when that buff effect is triggered.
I saw that.
That's pretty cool. I love all the detail they've put into the Wanderer.
All right, this brings us to the Wanderer's Elemental Burst.
Yay!
So, check this out. Upon unleashing his burst, he compresses the atmosphere and stomps it down toward the enemy. So, travelers should note that if the Wanderer is in a hovering state when he unleashes his burst, then the hovering state will end and he will begin descending after the burst is completed.
Okay, this stomping animation is a little aggressive.
Yeah, but it's cool.
I know, and it actually suits his character.
Yeah, I can't help but agree.
Wait. Let's not forget about the exploration talent.
Ah, yes. This is an interesting one. The Wanderer can decrease the morale
Tulai
required
tullah.
when
Ya
ascending
Allah.
bows and catalysts.
Tulai
Hey,
tullah
now,
namanya
you
anjir.
complain about saving Mora, am I right?
Okay,
Huh?
that's true. All right.
Anjing
now
kayak
that we've
Raiden
seen the
cok, Raiden.
Wanderer, let's move
Sword
on to
sama
the next
kata,
new
sword
character.
sama
Are
poam.
you ready?
Ini
I'm
bow sama
ready.
katalis anjir.
Yay!
Waduh, emang anaknya Raiden udah beda anjing.
What did you say?
I'm old now, so every other phrase escapes my ears. Try
Belgrade.
calling me Madam, Farozan.
Masa sih
And I'll see
Belgrade?
if I can pick that up.
Ini Ojan ya? Ojan ya? Ojan kan nih Ojan? Masih Ojan anjing.
What is it that you would like to learn more about? Different forms of pressure-based puzzle mechanisms? The base layer design of elemental monuments? Wait,
Hatsune
did
Miku
you forget to
anjing.
call me Madam Farozan just now when you asked your question? Whoa! What? There's nothing wrong with being afraid of thunder, even at an older age.
Oh, she sounds sassy.
Yeah, and smart too.
Jokes gue jelek
So
banget anjing.
awesome.
She's fun.
Ini apa sih dia
I
elemennya?
wonder what her skirt's made
I
out
know
of.
her design is so cool. and
Tulisannya
really detailed.
pecah-pecah
I
anjing.
love it.
Gara-gara cuma
So,
480.
even though she looks super young, she's actually an old person? Like, where's my teeth?
Well, she's not that old.
Oh,
I don't know,
right.
could've fooled me.
Farazan's age is probably still nothing compared to Scaramouche.
But let's call him the Wanderer, Sarah. Please.
Okay, you know who I meant. Actually, now that I think about it, yokai can also live a really long time too.
That's right, yeah, no, and speaking of age, isn't the traveler's age also kind of mysterious?
Dia laki.
Mhm,
Laki cewek sih.
That's true. It looks like all of our
Gue
characters
salah
are
dengar apa tadi
actually
ada ngomong manggilnya
But
him
it's
anjing
safe
him.
to say that Faruzan is way older than most people in Tibet. Faruzan works in the academia's Haravatat Darshan and has been a hairbod, which roughly means mentor, for over a century.
So, I bet everyone out there is wondering if she's also some kind of
Oh,
creature
si,
blessed with
nggak jadi,
long
nggak jadi, nggak
life,
jadi.
You know? Like Klee.
Cewek, ternyata cewek coba.
No, she's actually just your regular, typical human being.
Oh.
Well, maybe not so typical.
Cewek, cewek.
About 100 years ago, Faruzan was an undisputed genius, traveling all around Sumeru and solving many puzzles and mysteries. The notes she left behind eventually became the basis of mechanical research for later generations.
Whoa, she sounds pretty amazing.
Keren anjing loh,
But
makanya
later,
Tet,
she
keren ya?
accidentally stumbled into some
Bolong-bolong
ruins
itu
while
beberapa
trying to
Nyet.
solve a puzzle. There, she encountered some strange phenomenon which stopped her from aging and was trapped there for nearly 100 years.
Woo.
She eventually solved the puzzle and was able to finally return to Sumeru.
Can you imagine being trapped in a puzzle for 100 years?
Mm-mm.
Wait. So that's how she's been a hairbod for over a century.
Yeah. And even now, she still has the pride of a
Gak dia
scholar
hidupnya
in her heart, and is a
udah mau
very
100
talented
tahun.
person.
Tadi gue bilang mau over
It's
the
just that
century
after being
anjing.
separated from the world for so long, she's kind of fallen behind the times now.
Oh,
Tua dong nih karakter
I get
gue
what you
lihat.
mean. She was once a proud researcher in a niche field that has become unpopular after 100 years. So, is she still completely dedicated to her field?
Yep. And she often tries using her old age as a means of drumming up support for her ideas. However, I think she'd prefer to be complained about for using her seniority rather than garnering sympathy for her experience of being trapped in the ruins.
Yeah, sounds like she's quite the character.
I know, right? Okay, so now that we've covered her backstory, why don't we take a look at Faruzan's abilities in combat?
Let's do it.
Fight.
Anjay.
100 years have passed, yet there hasn't been any change to those dumb rules at the academia. Dare to mess with me?
Botak udah kayak bapak-bapak yang pakai kutang cuci motor tiap pagi anjing jokesnya kentot. Bangsat lo Teteh. Tuh dia botet.
I love all the geometric shapes when she's playing. Did you guys see that?
Yes, there's so
crazy.
much geometry. And I took geometry.
It looks so cool.
Ah, yeah.
So Faruzan
Ya,
is
jadi-
a hero character.
ya,
She wields a
ya.
bow as her weapon.
Oh iya.
Her normal attacks
Pokoknya
are
Ojan
the
tuh kayak
usual
gini
bow attacks
men.
you'd
Gue
expect
tahu
from
deh
a
Ojan tuh
bow.
skillnya tuh
There's not too
kayak
much
gitu
to say
teman-teman
about
ya.
that.
Dia
But
tuh
her
skillnya nama
skills
nembak
are where
ya.
things get
Tuh, lu bisa lihat sendiri tuh.
Her elemental skill
Pakai
deploys
bow,
a
pakai
holy feature
pakai-
that deals damage to
Apaan
enemies.
tuh?
After using
Pakai
her
bow
skill,
elemental
her
mastery
next
pokoknya
aimed
elemental
shot will
mastery
become
pokoknya
a
tuh
special
kan
attack
keren.
that
Iya.
creates a
Oh
vortex,
iya. Oh iya
pulling
Lumin ya
nearby
ya.
objects and opponents
Ah
in.
iya bagus.
Nice. So she can clump
Ah, yeah,
enemies
yeah.
together.
And there's also another thing about her
Eh.
special charged attack. It will
Gua
create a
jadi
vortex
komentator
effect
juga
at
kayak
each
di
point
sini
of
nggak selalu
impact.
tahu mah.
And if the attack hits an enemy or
Ah,
ally
yeah.
member, it'll apply a mark and create a vortex after a short delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like there will be a lot of potential uses for this attack.
Oh, yeah,
Travelers
yeah.
will have to experiment with it and see what they come up with.
Yeah, I think it'd be amazing to try hitting teammates
Oh,
with
dia
the arrow in
botak.
co-op mode and have them charge
Yeah.
into the enemies to group them all together. I'll have to
Boleh,
see who
boleh,
wants
boleh.
to try that with me.
Hmm.
After unlocking the talent Impetuous Flow, the time required for fully charging Barozan's next shot will be reduced.
Oh
and
iya,
the
iya.
arrow will reduce the target
Mantap,
enemy's
mantap
ammo
Lumin.
resistance.
Penjelasan lo bagus.
In her elemental burst,
Oninya
she
botak.
deploys
Udah
a
cukur, Ted.
dazzling polyhedron and releases a whirlwind pulse. Throughout its duration, the dazzling polyhedron will continuously move along a triangular path. Once it reaches each corner of that triangular path, it will unleash one more whirlwind pulse.
Yeah, 1 minute she's here, the next she's polygon for 100 years.
Itu ultinya random, Bray.
Even Sino's jokes are funnier than that.
It was pretty
All
funny.
right. Anyway,
Animenya
let's
keren, tapi
hear what
sayangnya bol
effects
sih.
these whirlwind pulses
Makanya.
have.
Sure. When the whirlwind pulse hits opponents, it will decrease their anemo resistance. It will also apply an anemo damage buffer
Kenapa
to all nearby
Anemonya
party
banyak
members
banget dah,
once
anjir.
Travelers should note that the effective range of this
Masuk
buff is
angin
quite
nih,
large,
kebanyakan
and
anemo,
it's
bangke.
not just within the whirlwind pulse
Sial,
itself, so there's
Fenty.
no need to go chasing
Ini
the
4 party
polyhedron.
anemo bintang 5 nih.
After
Jin.
unlocking her talent, Lost Wisdom of the
Fix,
Seven
jir, masuk
Caverns,
angin.
when a team member uses
Kalau
normal
kebanyakan hydro,
charge or
banjir.
punching attacks,
Kebanyakan api,
elemental
kebakaran.
spells, or elemental bursts to deal anemo
Kebanyakan
damage
anemo
to
masuk
enemies,
angin, bro.
the
Yo,
damage will
Enter
increase
Win.
based on
Aduh.
Barozan's base attack.
Tuh
This
anjir
effect
sama
can only
tuh
be triggered
GG banget
once
anjing
for a
Ojan
certain duration
sama
of time.
Oh, so it seems she'll be the solid
Skaramus.
support.
Yeah.
Totally. And as a researcher of mechanics and puzzles, Barozan has taken it upon herself to explore many ruins, with her travels taking her all across Sumeru. Her exploration talent reflects this. And she gains more rewards when
Oh,
dispatched
Ojan
on
bisa
a
jadi
Sumeru
babu, Ojan.
expedition for 20
Ojan bisa jadi
hours.
babu,
I'm
gengs.
sure no other mentor in Haravatat has 100 years of experience in solving puzzles.
Ya,
I
ya,
gotta
ya.
say, that's pretty hard to beat.
Mhm.
So, the big question is, when can travelers expect to get these new characters?
That is a good question.
Enter.
Let's talk about the
Gue baru
upcoming
ngeh lagi
event
Teddy
wishes.
anjing
In
Enter
the
Win
early part
masuk
of
angin
version
goblok.
3.3, the Wanderer
Anjay,
and
Arataki
Arataki
Itot,
will be
gila
available via their own
lo.
event wishes.
Gue punya senjatanya, gue coba gacha karakternya dah. Gak dapet ya udah nggak apa-apa.
In the later part of version 3.
Wah ini baru Mami Shotgun anjir. Kami satu Ayato nih bagus-bagus semua men.
And last but not least,
Bagus-bagus
the
semua,
new
men.
5-star catalyst
Karakter yang bintang 5
Julius
bagus-bagus semua, nggak ada yang
will be
jelek, bro.
appearing in a new weapon event wish.
And that's not all. In version
Apakah
3.3,
sekarang gue momen menggacha
2
Haran
artifact
Genpaku,
series
guys?
will become available. So
Senjatanya
travelers should
Ayatot.
check out the corresponding domain.
Dapetnya malah engulfing nih
More
anjing.
artifacts.
Alright.
I hope travelers will have fun
Wah baru
experimenting and trying new
screenshot dulu
combinations
screenshot.
with these.
Nah
Yeah.
Okay,
baru
we've
kasih
already
Discord.
talked about a ton of new content, so why don't we take a quick break with another redemption code?
Sounds good. Roll out the code.
Woohoo!
Kode cok. Apaan ya kodenya, mana ya kodenya? Waduh. NS 8 BD 6 EPS 77Z. NS 8 BD 6 EPS 77Z. Tuh, Bray. Yang mau redeem kode manja, redeem kode manja. Itu kode kedua. Kode pertamanya apaan? Kode pertamanya dong, tolong.
Welcome back to the version 3.3 special program. Okay, Patrick, what do we have next?
So next, we'll be covering the upcoming events for the new version.
Takayami.
That's right. We've already mentioned the Test of Courage event, and I'm sure plenty of you were wondering about that.
Ada di
so let's
Feby
start
ya.
there.
Anjay payung ya. Udah nanti deh gue cari tahu sendiri deh.
participate in the test of courage.
Gue lagi streaming suruh ke Feby anjing. Aneh baik. Ya udah.
the two of you. If you carelessly go running into the event,
Anjay payung.
it'll take is one little misstep, and the darkness will swallow you up.
Oh ini, aduh.
Some strange
Ini
and
kayak
unusual
musuhnya yang ada di
things
Ghost
may have
Online
come
anjir.
along the
Siapa
way.
namanya?
If you ever feel you can't handle it, you may withdraw from the event at any time. This is your last chance. I'll count it down. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the
Oh
test
thank you
of courage.
Takayami.
Enter at your own risk.
That was pretty interesting.
Udah. Thank you Takayami.
Yeah, I mean, it is a test of courage, so I'm sure there'll be some scary stuff going
Thank you so
on
much.
there.
I ain't scared.
Itu masa nggak tahu sih lu
To
siapa
successfully
namanya
complete
Ted
this
itu
event, we'll be
anjing.
facing a series of little tests.
Yang payung itu
What's
ini
this?
ada
Test,
musuhnya di
you
game
say?
gue dulu
Yes,
anjing namanya
that's
Ghost
right.
Online. Yes,
Word
another
has it
crown
that
to
if you walk
collection.
around
Yeah.
the test of courage, you might find yourself encountering a special sort of game. We've already got the rules down, so I'll do a quick introduction.
Yeah.
Basically, travelers will have to
Yeah.
control a bouncing bar to bounce a ball and
Yeah.
use skill ball
Main
effects
pinball
to break
dah
as
anjing.
many bricks
Main
as
inian
possible.
dah. Gua lagi anjing, gua aja nggak nonton anime bangsat.
During the game, travelers will be able to trigger elemental reactions to break bricks more effectively.
Nice! It even has elemental reactions.
Yeah, we can control the character to move the bar. When the character we're using is either pyro, hydro, cryo, or electro, the
Anjing tembus
corresponding
bangsat
element will be
sama
applied to the bar.
elektro.
By switching
Ya,
characters,
anjing,
you can
kreatif
change
pisan,
the
Yoyo.
elements of the bar.
Kayak anjing.
Okay, all the pieces are falling
Wah,
into place
anjing
now. The bar can
ini dah
infuse a
pinball
certain
bukan
element.
pinball apa sih?
Blocks also
Mirip-mirip
have
kayak
their
pinball
own
tuh ada tuh
elements,
anjir
so
game.
causing a skill ball with one
Anjir nih.
element to hit
Game
blocks of
gini banget,
different
Cok.
elements will trigger elemental reactions. There, how'd I do?
Yep, you nailed it. The bar
Kita
will
ganti
add an
karakter
element
buat elemental
corresponding
reaction.
to your
Misalkan Ayakan, ini kan dia pakai Ayakan nih,
Besides
berarti S
triggering
kan?
reactions the way you just
Apa
mentioned,
tergantung bola
if the
kenanya?
skill
Tuh kan,
ball
oh
is
iya tergantung
already
karakter kita yang
infused by
pakai anjing
element
tuh pakai
and
kudus,
hits the bar,
pakai
it
kujo
will
Sara
also
langsung jadi
trigger a
listrik, Cok.
reaction, causing the skill ball to have some additional effects. When preparing your team, you can equip modifiers to receive various buff effects, which will help you successfully clear the challenge.
Begini banget dah main dah.
Also, when there are less than a certain amount of
Lalu
bricks
gua
on
lagi
the
rapat
board
nih,
and the
rapat.
ball lands another hit, the bar will unleash fireworks.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah. Travelers can utilize this effect to break some bricks that would normally be difficult to hit directly.
Tuh,
It's like a
boleh lah,
bonus
boleh lah.
attack.
Boleh lah,
Yeah.
boleh lah.
So,
Akhirnya ada
travelers will
event
need to
jenis
select
baru, ada
characters
event
with the
jenis
right
baru ya.
elements,
Kagak
equip the
monoton ya.
appropriate modifiers,
Sebenarnya
and use
eventnya sih
different
ganti-ganti
elemental
terus, maksudnya
reactions to
yang
break bricks
yang
and score more points.
yang
And then
wow
travelers
banget
will
tuh
be able to
baru
use
kelihatan
their
sekarang nih,
boost
ini wow
stage
nih,
for
tergantung wow
rewards
nih.
in the
Maksudnya
event shop.
lebih wah nih
That's
akhirnya
right.
kelihatan baru. Gitu.
Also, travelers will
Kemarin
have
kan
the option
eventnya
of
foto-foto
teaming up
doang,
and playing the
bantai-bantai
event
musuh
together in
impostasis
co-op
doang
mode.
kan.
Oh, looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Ini
Yeah.
mah pak.
In addition to this
Gue berharap
minigame,
empat-empat
the
lagi
Test
sih.
of Courage
Jangan dah lu
storyline will
cupu.
also contain more challenges. Travelers will even have a chance
Ih
to meet
Halloween
some
tuh,
good
Halloween
friends
tuh,
again,
Halloween
so be
petak-umpet
sure to
mantep
check
tuh.
out this
Kalau
new
udah
event.
Halloween petak-umpet.
All right,
Wih, dapat
let's
apaan
move
tuh?
on to our
Para
next event.
Talkum
Okay,
anjir.
so next up, we have a race event called Across the Wilderness. Your objective, collecting balloons.
Ya,
I don't know. Seems like
collecting
the
balon
wanderer's
dah.
abilities might come in real handy
Di Mondo dah.
I know, right?
So,
Balik lagi ke
in this
kampung
event,
halaman,
each
anjing.
stage will have wilderness balloons scattered all around. Travelers will need to find as many wilderness balloons as possible within the time limit to earn increasingly better rewards. So during the challenge, travelers will be able to utilize their
Anjir,
character's
tiga
skills
marketing
and
wanderer.
talents. So it'll be important to assemble the right
Iya.
team
Enggak,
depending
itu
on
nggak
the
bisa
traits
pakai
and
skill set, lihat
terrain
tuh
of
anjir.
the
Bisa
challenge
nggak sih?
area.
Oh,
Bisa dah, anjir.
interesting.
Yeah, so travelers can also use something called the Wilderness Compass to obtain various buffs, which include enhanced jumping capabilities, increased movement speed, or unlimited stamina, etc.
Ooh, cool.
However, you can only claim one buff during each challenge. You must consume blessed
Mainnya di
energy
kapal bedo
to
dah.
use the compass and gain the selected buff. You may charge the compass up by finding wilderness balloons or interacting with blessed energy in the challenge. Or you can always wait for the compass to passively charge over time.
Yo, this event looks pretty crazy. It's almost like watching parkour.
Yeah, there are two different kinds of wilderness balloons
Oh iya,
in these
lagunya ini
challenges.
di archipel lagu
The
emang
first is
kelihatan
harvest
kadang-kadang ya?
balloons, which will increase the overall progress of your search for wilderness balloons. The other kind is sonar balloons, which will cause several harvest balloons to appear around you for a set amount of time.
That's awesome.
So there will be 5 stages available for this event, and travelers will need to consider the conditions and terrain of each stage to come up with the best way
Yeah.
to complete it.
Di
Also,
semua negara dah.
travelers may
Tuh
team up
di
in co-op
di
mode
Mondstadt
for
sekarang di
challenges.
Sumeru, nanti
Ooh,
jangan-jangan
more
ada di
chances to play together. I love
Liwe
it.
sama ini
Yeah,
lagi
same.
Inazuma.
Okay, let's move on to our next event.
Everyone's favorite game of hide and seek is back with the Wind Race
Wait,
event.
hide and seek,
And of
Ted,
course,
hide
there's
and
going
seek,
to be
Ted.
another co-op event, and I for one
Hide
am
and seek,
super
Ted, petak
excited
umpet,
for
Ted.
it.
There's nothing like a good co-op. Many of you might already be familiar with this event, but
Paling
there have
seru
been a
deh,
few changes.
anjing.
Let me introduce what travelers can expect to see this time
Weh,
around.
hide and seek. Gue liat
We can
komen-komennya.
probably skip some of the basics this time. You know, players either hide or seek. And then...
Okay, wait a
Eh.
second. There actually might be some new
Mihoyo,
travelers out there
hear
who've
me,
never
bro.
seen this event before.
Ah.
So why don't you start with some of the basics?
Right, good point. Okay, let's start at
Pada
the beginning.
seneng dah, hide and
This
seek dah.
is a game with a long history in Mondstadt. Travelers will be split into two different sides, the rebels and the hunter. You will need to use skills and master the art of
Ini yang malas
hiding
jadi
or
hunter,
chasing
anjing.
down others to win this event. The
Main
goal of the
bareng-bareng lah
hunter
inilah.
is to capture all the rebels, while the rebels run or use other means to keep themselves from getting caught by the hunter.
Okay, that's straightforward enough.
Main
So,
bareng-bareng
what
Ted
else
nih,
you got?
Discordan,
Well,
bareng-bareng.
some travelers may remember playing as the rebels and getting caught early in the game. Once that would happen, all you could do was spectate and watch the rest as the others continue
Ya,
playing.
kegep dah,
But
goblok.
this time around, once you're caught, you'll still be able to participate in the match even in observer mode.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Once you're in observer mode, you can't be seen by other players and will receive the illusory beacon skill. This skill will allow you to place a random beacon to confuse the hunter.
Anjing curang
If your
banget.
beacon successfully tricks the hunter and is destroyed, then the hunter will suffer an obscured vision effect.
So even after you've been captured,
Curang banget,
you
udah
can
mati
be
ya
like
masih
a little bit
nyusahin,
trying to
anjing.
help your teammates by disrupting the hunter.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. And at least you won't have to sit there and just
Udah
watch the rest of
mati
the
ya
match
masih
anymore.
nyusahin bangsat.
Exactly, but what does
Wah,
the
ini
hunter
lebih
get this
berat
time?
nih,
I mean,
anjir,
we gotta
si-
keep it fair.
Some new
Yang
win
jaga,
arts have been added for both the hunter and the rebels. The hunter will now be able to use the hunter's net. This net can be thrown and will remove any rebel disguises within its range, and will notify the hunter that a rebel was detected. If a beacon is caught in the net, it will be
Jadi
destroyed,
hunter
and the
kerja keras,
hunter will
anjing.
not
Mangkai,
suffer from
bangsat.
obscured vision.
Nice. So I guess if you love playing hunter, you'll probably love this.
Oh yeah, you
Itu buat
definitely
apaan
do.
anjir?
The skill
Ngenangkep
rebels
doang.
use in
Orang mah
previous versions of the
langsung
game to place beacons
langsung
can now
scan
only be
aja,
used by
ngapain
players
anjir nangkep-nangkep
in
red?
server mode. However, the rebels will be able to use an all-new concealing beacon skill. This skill will allow you to deploy a beacon for a set duration and remain invisible while you're around that beacon. All players, including your rebel teammates, will be unable to see you while you're invisible. If the concealing beacon is destroyed by the hunter, then the hunter will have their vision obscured for a short time.
Anjing hilangnya lama
Sounds pretty
banget,
fun,
gak
huh?
bakal ketahuan anjir sampai
So
wah
even
ini
if you end
curang
up being
anjir.
captured by the hunter
Ini
at the start
hunternya
of the
sih
game,
ngap
you'll
bangsa.
still be able to participate and assist your team.
Wah, hunter ngap cok. Kagak mau gue jadi hunter kalau gini ceritanya mah anjing.
The good stuff. So be sure to check it out.
Anjing jadi hunter sih
Oh,
ngap
that's
cok.
awesome. Seriously, I can't wait to play with
Sedoa
friends.
mulut
Okay,
anjing.
our
Mangkai
next event
bangsat.
is
Pakai
a
sedoa mulut
combat-based
anjing.
event.
Time for some
The hell, man?
combat.
Whoop, whoop.
In a forbidden place warded by dust and sand, mysterious foes have assembled lines of fortifications to stop your coming.
Pakai sedoa mulut anjir.
Ooh.
That's right, a new edition of Misty Dungeon will arrive in version 3.3. Stoked.
Sweet.
But this time around, there will be a total of 7 trials with different themes awaiting you in the Misty Dungeon. Each has a different ley line disorder, and travelers will have to adjust their teams according to the
Ini mah
disorder's
biasa,
effects
ini mah.
and the distribution of enemies. There will also be trial characters for you to select from as well. After entering the domain, travelers will need to go and complete 3 challenges to collect ancient runes. After collecting power from 3 ancient runes, we can power up the control array and proceed to the final challenge. Also, throughout the trial, additional benediction mechanisms and challenges will appear. Travelers may choose to interact with these to increase the ley line disorder's effects or revive and heal your team.
You know, if it were up to me, I'd say just go for all the challenges.
I know, but travelers should keep in mind that the challenge objective for each trial
Biasa,
might
biasa.
be
Ini
different.
biasa,
So be
biasa.
sure to check the objective and aim for that.
Ini
while
amat sangat
proceeding.
biasa,
In
gengs.
terms of rewards, travelers can look forward to winning primo gems and other various prizes. Yes.
Ooh, I like prizes.
And last but not least, version 3.3 will also have leyline overflow events.
Weh,
Travelers
lelet
can look forward
overflow.
to saving their resin and earning more Mora and experience books.
Nice.
Udah
That's
nggak butuh
And that'll
sebetulnya
be
buat
great for
gua
all
mah,
the travelers
anjing.
out there still leveling up all their new characters. And even if you don't need those resources now, it's always good to stock up and have more on hand. Am I right?
Yeah. So, travelers looking to upgrade their characters won't wanna
Mantap
miss
bisa buat
this.
Layla
Yeah,
gua.
I mean,
Ya
this is all good
Layla.
stuff.
In addition
Ojan
to
lah
the new
Ojan.
version's limited time events, version 3.3
Weh,
will also
TCG,
be adding a new
trade card
permanent
game,
game
let's
mode
go.
called Genius Invocation TCG.
Ini gue suka nih anjing. Ngadu sama gue lo
Before we
bro.
get into that,
Anjing.
let's take another quick break and enjoy a redemption code.
Oh, redemption code.
Slap that code on
Yeay.
the screen.
Ah, ini gue suka nih karena gue play Yu-Gi-Oh kan. Supen B765. Ini ya guys, ET9 Supen B765.
Welcome back, everyone. During our journey into VAT, we've stumbled across several NPCs talking about a game called Genius Invocation TCG. So next, we'll introduce this card game that's been taking to VAT by storm. In the version 3.1 special program, we already revealed that Genius Invocation TCG will be a card game where we can challenge various characters and NPCs or battle against your friends. But there is actually a legend behind this game. It is said that a young guy in Sumeru found an ancient casket of tomes in the attic. He opened it and discovered that the soul of an ancient TCG player called the Crocodile King had been captured inside.
What a name.
It turns out that the Crocodile King was King Deshret's viceroy, who battled an opponent named the Ibis King. During the match, the Crocodile King fell prey to his opponent's scheme and was sealed away in the casket of tomes.
Ouch, game over.
After being unexpectedly released by the kid, the Crocodile King possesses him and helps him to gradually climb the ranks to becoming a legendary TCG player.
Nice. Hang on, is it just me, or does that kind of sound like the plot to a light novel or something?
You're right. It turns out that Yai Publishing House is about to release a hit light novel series based on Genius Invocation TCG.
Okay, now this is starting to sound like a plug for Yai Publishing House.
Maybe. But anyway, that's the legend on how Genius Invocation TCG came to be. Though it's probably just a story they came up with for marketing the game.
So while you were telling us about the story, I was over here researching the rules to the game. Basically, Genius Invocation TCG is a game where you use a constructed deck of cards to duel against an opponent. The objective is to defeat all of your opponent's character cards.
That's right.
Also, there are many features and mechanics in the game that resonate with Genshin Impact's gameplay.
Fix menang
So
gue.
it's
Ini gue jago main gini bener dah.
the hang of.
Right, I even saw some
Gue
elemental reactions.
jago main Yu-Gi-Oh bro. Lu kalau nggak tahu
Yup,
mah.
a constructed deck must contain character cards. And as you might expect, these character cards have a normal attack, an elemental skill, and an elemental burst. So when a character card deals elemental damage to an enemy, it will cause them to be affected by that element. Then you can switch to a character card of a different element and use their abilities to trigger an elemental reaction.
Wait, did you guys notice that there are even monster character cards? Can we even make a deck of, like, just the monsters from the game?
You're really getting into this, Max.
Heck yeah, I am! I like card games!
Who doesn't?
So in Genius Invocation TCG, all actions require you to spend elemental dice. Each round, both you and your opponent will roll 8 elemental dice. Each of these elemental dice can have any one of 8 elemental attributes.
Hold on, but there's only 7 elements in the world of Teyvat.
You're right. So in addition to the 7 standard elements, there's also one called the Omni element. The elemental dice required for a character card to perform an action correspond to the character's element. So for example, a Pyro character like Diluc needs either Pyro or Omni elemental dice to perform an action. Clear now?
Yep, crystal clear.
Also, elemental dice can be used to switch characters or play a variety of other cards, such as equipment cards, event cards, and support cards.
Ya.
All these cards create
Jago nih
potential
gua
for
fix
a variety
begini
of
anjing.
strategies.
Right. While playing
Ya,
Genius
gua mau
Invocation
begini
TCG,
anjing.
travelers
Hah?
can earn player experience, which will increase your player level. As your level increases, you'll be able to challenge more characters and NPCs.
Gua
By completing challenges,
Gua
you may
grinding
earn
main
lucky
ginian
coins,
anjing.
new cards, or other rewards. Lucky coins can be exchanged in the event shop for
Waduh,
cards, or can
waduh.
even unlock dynamic skins for certain cards.
Dynamic skins? Those are cards that have moving illustrations, right?
That's right. All character cards can unlock a
Anjing
dynamic
gak sabar
skin.
gua. Kapan sih
After unlocking that,
minggu depan ya,
there'll even
gengs?
be a
Hari
cool
Rabu ya?
bonus animation whenever you cast that character's elemental burst.
Anjay.
Cool.
And if you're confident in your TCG skills, you can also invite a friend to duel. After reaching a high enough player level, you'll even unlock a matchmaking mode. So be sure to give it a try.
Travelers should know
Jangan
that
satu
playing
itu
against
akun
your friends
kita,
or
ya.
other travelers won't count towards any leaderboards or provide any rewards. So you can relax. It's all just for fun. Okay, that's everything we have for Genius Invocation TCG, and that brings us to the end of today's
Give
special program.
me card game,
So,
bos.
what did you think?
Give me
Why do
card
I
games.
have
Gua
to
kapan-kapan
be
streaming
over?
Yu-Gi-Oh!
There's so much that this version
Kapan-kapan
has
gua
to
streaming
offer.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I can't even take
Hari
it all
Minggu
in
kali ya?
right now. I'm just
Main Yu-Gi-Oh!
super stoked to be part of this.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Online yang di
I
Steam tuh.
think I just gained
Gila, kartu
some
gue udah
real
lama banget kagak gue
systems.
mainin, udah 1 tahun anjing. Kayaknya gue bakal ketinggalan jauh. Kalah dah sama teman orang-orang yang sekarang deh.
Characters look cool.
Udah pada update kartu-kartunya anjing, kartu gue masih sama anjing.
Like that's
I
insane.
know, that's awesome.
That's super dope.
That's awesome. And I cannot wait to play in some of these events and mini games. I'm super excited. This was so fun. I'm really glad that we got to do the special program together.
I'm so happy I got to come back for another special program. This is my 3rd time being on one of these, and I can't wait for number 4. I'm counting.
I'm so happy. This is my first one, so thank you for having me.
Doesn't it feel good?
Yeah,
lu
Doesn't
minta,
it feel
lu
good to
minta
feel
juga ya,
special?
lu minta.
Do you feel special?
I
Udah
really
ngapain lagi gue abis ini? Hah? Main-main Genshin lah bentar lah, sampai 1 jam lah, 13 menit lah.
I think this is the end of our special program. So I hope everyone enjoyed it, and we'll see you in game.
See you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Hey!
Bye, everyone.
See you later!
Lu main voice aktornya dong. Ah, jangan dah. Voice aktornya lagi anjing. Ya udah, rapat gue udah kelar barusan. Ya berarti ya gue pasti gue nggak expect iniannya sih, apa namanya, kayak iniannya Bray, game kartunya sih. Gue kayak bakal spam itu dah. Gue juga suka game kartu nih. Dari kecil gue main kartu juga anjir. Oh iya, gue harus tahu. Gua jam gue jam 10, Bray. Teman-teman gue pada mau ngumpul malam ini, pada mau nginep, Bray. Pada mau nginep. Cuma nanti gue datangnya telat jam 10. Anjay, lagu personal lah. Yang kagak ada copyright-nya. Iya gak, gengs? Yuk, kita main Genshin dulu. Back to seat. Anjay, bercumbu. Yo iyalah. Enggak, gue siapa tahu dapat kerjaan ya kan, Ted, enggak ada yang tahu tuh. Primogam gue selalu kecil, Ted. Selalu gue pakai anjir. Apa gitu, gue nabung-nabung aja bodo amat aja. Ngapa itu nabung-nabung, langsung pakai Primogam, bangsat. Oh iya, ini redeem ya, redeem. Redeem dulu, gengs. Thank you Takayami udah ngasih tahu redeem-redeemnya. Makasih banyak Takayami. Banyak rezekinya. Karamu teriak menarik anjing. Gacha lah, Kel. Gue langsung gacha nih, Kel, nggak pakai basa-basi gue nih. Langsung kayak gini, Kel. Mana anjing, kok kagak ada cok Primogamnya? Error bangsat. Iyalah. Ini PT-nya gue mau genapin semua dulu anjir, baru gue nabung nih kan. Nih Ini udah 10 ya? Udah 10 anjing PT-nya. Udah 10 PT-nya, nggak usah berarti. Ini udah genap belum? Udah genap, nggak usah berarti, udah nabung. Nggak jadi berarti anjing gacha. Gue pikir tadi belum genap, cok. Babi. Nggak, nih masalahnya gue belum dapat elemental mastery di bagian circlet nih, bangsat. Di domain ini belum dapat gue. Kudu gimana anjir? Sumpah. Gua ada, lu percaya nggak percaya mah ya? Gua ada 3 artefak yang nganggur anjir. Terus sama ngocok Patrick, goblok. Gua ada 3 artefak yang nganggur, jadi tau nggak lo? Ya gua nabung mau konsentrasi 22 habis itu si kembar dari Fontaine. Gua kayak paling nanti ke depannya buat inian dah. Buat Archon Fontaine kayak. Udah anjir, nggak ada yang lain kayak. Waduh, Dendron bonus nih. Siapa tahu dapat elemental mastery kan. Gua nabung udah buat ini Archon selanjutnya, cok. Bodo amat, lama-lama ada player. Nggak peduli gua. Mau lama mau cepet anjir. Archon mah pasti gua. Anjing. HP flat di defense segala macem. Damage bonus anjir. Iya, tadi balik lagi ya. Gua ada 3 artefak yang nganggur, jir. Artefak Blizzard, udah jadi artefaknya semuanya nih. Artefak Blizzard, artefak Crimson, Crimson atau Shimenawa salah satu lah. Utama gue nggak pakai Crimson, nih pakai Shimenawa. Habis itu tuh lagi artefaknya si Keking nih. Artefaknya si Keking nih, apa namanya? Nih artefak yang ini nih. Ini nganggur nih, Thundering Fury. Apalagi nganggur ya? Ada lagi artefak yang nganggur ya? Udah tuh 3 itu jadi Archon mulu ya. Gua akan menghilangkan 4 bulan ke depan. Gua akan menghilang 4 bulan ke depannya, haha. Archon muncul, gua akan menghilang 4 bulan ke depannya ya. Menghilang dah. Gue juga menghilang nih, Kel. Tapi tetap lu udah R60 jadiin B4 lah. Apaan jadiin B4? Udah jadi B4 barusan, kemarin B4 jadi, Kel. Sucrose. Makanya gue nanya Sucrose kalau lo. Kel dah tuh. Iya, Ted. Gue udah jadi Ted. Sucrose Ted kemarin, Ted. Gue kemarin nanya Kelly tentang Sucrose dan lain-lain. Udah jadi Sucrose, tiba-tiba Sucrose jadi dah. Tanpa hal-hal yang tidak diduga, Sucrose jadi anjing. Jangan kangen ya kalau gue nggak balas chat apapun. Hah? Jangan kangen. Kenapa dah? Apa hubungannya Archon muncul sama lo menghilang? Tidak ada hubungan. Gue lagi proses B4 ini. Oh. B4 siapa lagi anjir? Ngapain buat karakter B4 kalau powernya biasa-biasa aja dah? Gue nggak begitu suka B4 soalnya gue mau buat kalau konstelasinya udah ada deh. Kayak gue pengen Rosaria nih, sebenarnya gue pengen buat Rosaria, cuman kayak nggak ada konstelasinya, gue males banget anjir. Kan konstelasinya ngaruh banget tuh, kayak nambah durasi. Penting banget itu durasi Rosaria anjir. Pengen gue buat Rosaria, cuman ada durasi. Ya pokoknya jangan kaget aja udah. Iya dah Kel, hati-hati dah Kel, nggak bakal kaget gue Kel. Lo hilang sampai tahun depannya kagak kaget gue Kel. Balik-balik gue cengin tetap tuh. Nih, gue udah jadi bintang 4 banyak nih. Tuh, gue udah jadi. Nih, kita lihat bintang 4 udah jadi siapa aja ya. Nih. Sucrose, Xingqiu, Xiangling, Yunjin, Kaya, Noel belum, Diona belum. Udah Bennett. Tuh. Ini belum. Ini belum. Maksudnya yang bagus-bagusnya tuh udah gitu. Gue level 90 sama talent 999 lah. Anjir, talent 999. Gue lagi menuin talent Nahida, tau gak lo? Nih si Kole udah jadi sebenarnya, cuma nggak gue naikin aja. Kole nggak jadi, dia nggak gue bilang jadi dah. Udah segitu doang. Nih, gue lagi naikin talent Nahida, lihat tuh, udah crown tuh. Gue tinggal naikin ultinya doang. Ultinya gue crown ntar. Sakit jing Nahida bangsat. Tuh gitu dong 20.000. Gue sih biar murah habis aja ya. Masalahnya bukan buat murah habis Kel. Gue pengen resin itu buat artefak juga. Masalahnya kan artefak gue masih banyak yang jelek aja. Kadang mikir juga karakter jadi plus 20. Kagak plus 20. Gue mau pergi abis ini. Nanti abis streaming ini pergi gue. Besok plus 20. Besok siang gue paling. Soalnya gue nginep rumah teman gue pasti sampai pagi kan. Siang paling gue mainnya besok. Udah ngapain lagi gue tuh cok. Sepi cok quest gue. Mau ngapain lagi anjing, end stream apa kita? Entar lu tanggung udah sejam lah. Tai dah. Alah capek banget gue sama Arte. Udah gak perlu lagi pakai seadanya aja. Yang penting ada damage-nya udah cukup. Malas ikut-ikutin meta. Ya itu lo. Gue orang-orang kan beda anjing masalahnya. Kalau gue pengennya gitu, makanya karakter yang udah dikasihkan harus jadi gitu. Contoh kayak si bocil ini nih anjing. Ini bisa serai tuh, elemental mastery 870 cok. Tapi ini pakai sakrifisial sih. Gue ternyata pakai ini nih. Ya alah memang ya, gara-gara gak dapet teko monyet. Gue crit rate-nya gue gedein tau gak sih? Crit rate-nya gue gedein buat damage aggravate kan mesti pakai crit rate ya. Anjing emang. Nih aggravate sama spread tuh pakai crit rate masalahnya. Ya udah crit rate-nya 67%. Tapi mah kalau dilihat mah artefaknya udah bagus-bagus nih. Udah bagus-bagus buat ketemu mah nih. Coba tag damage nih. Ini 105. Ini 14% tuh crit rate-nya ya kan. Sebenarnya kalau mau nyari elemental mastery ada lagi. Mana ya elemental mastery doang ya? Nih. Bukan nih 42. Bukan. Udah di-boot kalau masih lebih kecil damage dari gue bakar arte lu. Udah di-boot. Kalau masih kecil damage dari gue bakar arte lu. Ah, kenapa jadi begitu dah? Apanya sih damage Nahidanya? Nah ini ada nih kalau buat support nih. Misalkan gue mainnya kayak nggak pakai elektro nih. Kan kalau nggak pakai elektro kan pakainya kayak hydro dan lain-lainnya. Kalau pakai hydro gue ngambil ini, nggak ngambil crit rate gue. Coba damage Nahidanya. Ya ini kan gue build Nahidanya bukan buat Nahidanya, Kel. Gue buat Nahidanya tuh buat caking sama Raiden, PA, goblok dah lu. Lu denger gak sih omongan gue barusan? Nih, gue build ini biar damage aggravate-nya sakit. Ini aggravate sama spread ini dari elektro. Ini pakai crit rate. Ngapa jadi kena hida anjing? Lu pakai teko ya bangsat. Jangan sama-samain lah sama gue, lu cabut teko lo. Lu pakai teko anjing. Tuh 925 pakai teko. Lebih kecil dari gue, menang teko ngentot. Apaan sih lu? Lalu salah konsep jing. Bangsat dah. Menang teko sosok ngadu damage anjir. Nah ini kalau pakai hydro gue pakainya ini nih. Ini habis itu elemental mastery tetap, tapi ada lagi nggak ya gue? Nih, elemental mastery, habis itu energi recharge. Pokoknya elemental mastery energi recharge. Habis itu mana lagi nih? Nah, ini juga nih elemental mastery, ini crit rate, elemental mastery, energi recharge. Jadi tinggal ganti doang. Sebenarnya udah ada. Kalau main lagi itu kakinya main EM enggak sih? Nggak tahu udah Kel. Seharusnya, tapi setahu gue tuh Kel ya, caking tuh di meta sekarang ya. Ini gue sebagai player caking anjay. Ini tuh caking tuh sebenarnya yang sekarang nih artefaknya udah bukan ini lagi sebetulnya. artefaknya udah pakai ini, udah pakai 4 ini. Soalnya udah ada aggravate kan, tuh udah ada quicken aggravate tuh. Ya kan? Kan kakinya Plele tuh bukan Nahida. Iya. Tuh. Ya kan? Electro Charge, Hyper Condom gini-gini tuh. Quicken, dia harusnya pakai ini, 4 set ini. Iya sekarang 4 tanda MP. Sebenarnya gue udah ada, cuman gue nggak suka ya mas status gue yang apa namanya yang kecil itu, yang cuman segini gitu loh. Yang tuh attack-nya sih gede sih 2100, gede juga anjir. Tapi ini kelihatannya 52 doang anjing. Elemen tamatnya juga cuma segitu. Bingung juga gue emang kadang-kadang tuh. Coba dah. Nih Elektro nggak ada lagi, gue yang bagus ini doang. Iya kan kayak gini cuma 600 doang, Nemeki ya terima aja. Ya, chill. Ya gue mau tuh nyari artefak yang ini dah. Ini yang ini nih. Gacha artefak yuk gengs. Ya gacha artefak lah. Gacha artefak ini lah. Cuma satu doang itu. Yang circlet doang, circletnya crit rate damage lah. Carilah circlet crit rate damage lah. Cari terus sampai bodoh. Sebenarnya mah udah jadi. Ini ngapa nih? Kok ngeheng? Nah, udah. Nah. Sebenarnya udah jadi mah. Cuman ya gimana ya? Kurang. Aneh sih. Kita cari ya. Pokoknya kan kalau artefak buduk kita udah jadi. Soalnya udah jadi semua rata-rata nih. Fairy Design udah ada. Ini udah ada. Ini belum sih. Cuma gue nggak mainin kayak. Ini udah ada, jadi cuma ini doang. Gue merasa Genshin udah makin berat di laptop gue. Beli baru lah. Jangan kayak orang susah pakai. Beli baru Kel. Yang bikin malu keluarga gue dah. Ngapa jadi keluarga gue anjing? Thundering. Ini bahan dapat banyak nih. Crit damage lagi dah. Jembut. Anjir double crit dibuang. GG dah. Double crit apaan sih? Yang mana sih tadi? Pokoknya nggak ada yang bagus tadi situ. Gue udah punya kalau gue nggak. Pokoknya kayak kalau nggak gue gembok, berarti gue udah ada yang punya lebih GG. Itu aja intinya. Nggak ada yang bagus dong. Jangan. Ya, nggak ada lagi. Ya. Mementa Mastery. Ini depend anjing. Tuh, depend banyak banget depend ya. Ini Geo, ngapain sih Geo ya? Geo tapi inian, jangan dah. Ini critical damage. Jangan dah. Waduh, jangan dah. Ini HP persen, ada HP persen, jangan dah. Lock doang nggak di up. Buat karakter nanti kayak sampai tahu kan ada. Ini jangan. Tuh depend banyak banget gue depend anjing. Udahlah ini lah. Jangan dah. Ini HP buat siapa dah? Anjing yang gue lock bagus-bagus semua. Oh ini. Udah ini lah. Ya Hydro dah. Ya critical damage lagi anjing. Dasar artefak nge-scam anjing. Sat. Waduh. Gue udah punya sih sebenarnya, tapi udah lah ya. Berharap pemain tadi dah crit rate gede gitu ya. Ini gede 60% kan. Berarti 10% lah, bisa lah 10%. Mana tadi? Bisa lah crit rate 10% lah. Ya, jembut. Gak jadi dah kalau gitu dah. Tadi apa lagi sih? Satu lagi ini ya? Apaan tuh? Wah, crit rate yang naik, cok. Oh, ini udah 4 status ya? Oh, udah 4 status. Oke lah, fine lah. Ini apaan dah? Aduh, sulit nih anjing. Bahkan yang 35% aja. Ini nganggur anjing. Waduh, jangan dah yang ini dah. Jangan yang baru-baru dah. Aneh mau snamek, aduh. Wah, nih apaan nih anjing? Artefak burik kayak gini gue simpen. Loh, boleh nih anjing, nggak apa-apa lah. Crit rate. Anjing, Elemental Mastery. Tapi nggak apa-apa sih Elemental Mastery, cok. Coba kayak King, kamu pakai apa sekarang, King? 243. Ih, HP naik, cok. Bandingkan. HP. Mendingan ini, anjing. 5,8 ada Elemental Mastery-nya, mendingan ini lah. Anjay, naiklah 2% setidaknya bangsat. Wah, taruh dah, Keking, kamu dapat buff dari sini nggak sih? Lihat dari CV bagus yang baru. Iya kan? Taruh dah. Ini nambahin crit rate kan dia? Iya nggak sih? Iya tuh. Kelalingan lagi mau muka aku goblok. Untuk setiap satu poin elemental meningkat 0,1. Sejak kapan Naida namain crit rate? Ini goblok baca anjing. Untuk setiap satu makan membuat rekaman perjalanan ke bakal oleh hasil tuna meningkat 0,1% crit rate. Itu namanya buat elemental skillnya Naida. Crit rate meningkatkan damage di kamar dengan cara maksimal. Baca yang bener. Ya kan gue bilangnya dari tadi Naida nambahin crit rate gak sih? Kan gue bilang gitu anjing. Nambahin kan berarti. Gue salah di mana bangsat? Emang gue bilang nambahin crit rate gak sih buat Keking? Emang gue bilang nambahin buat Keking? Kocak dah lu. Lu denger yang bener goblok. Tuli anjing. Denger yang bener bangsat. Ngentot deh anjing, bikin emosi anjing. Kuping pasang anjing. Banyak conge, ya bangsat. Gue kagak bilang buat Keking perasaan dah. Kocak anjing. Tuli. Malam minggu lu kebanyakan kerjaan lu kill ya. Anjing pengen marah tapi gak bisa, tai babi goblok. Tuli anjing, masih muda ada tuli anjing, bikin malu bangsat. Tapi Keking dapat crit rate juga dari sini kan. Berarti dua orang ini dah tuh. Mereka kita energi recharge dan energi recharge kita menggunakan elemental skill. Ya udah bisa lah. Ketika menggunakan style ya udah fix 15%. 15 berapa sih? 15% Jik. Wah gila, gini status gue bro. Oh yeah, my Keking is good. Kenapa tuh toxic nying? Baca tuh orang yang di atas aja. Lalu ada WhatsApp temen gue, sorry, bentar ya. Ngapa dah?
If you're not sure what to do next,
Oh, gak bisa ngetik sih gue.
how about I take you on a walk?
Inilah tipikal streamer yang udah depresi sama Genshin Om Takayami. Ya, chill.
Something on your mind again? Let's work through it together. Two heads are better than one.
Ancient alchemy truly is fascinating.
Sesat, adalah off dulu. Today terlalu capek, apalagi dapat Naida buff crit. Sesat, bangsat. Yaudah, see you Kel, thank you Kel. Ya udahlah, gue mau ngapain lagi anjing main ginian bangsat. Gue udah gak tahu main ginian mau ngapain lagi cok. Lo expect gue mau ngapain anjing? Ya udah ya, gue end stream lah ya. Gue udah gak tahu lagi mau ngapain cok. Ya udah, see you, bye bye.